My daughter just graduated from nurse school. She's got her license.
Well, that's good.
My son's fiance, she's a nurse. And I married her. So,
All right. Everybody ready?
yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regularly Scheduled Meeting for Tuesday, May the 5th, 2020. Pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N2920, Taft City Council meetings will be held in the following manner. In order to protect our constituents, city officials, and city staff, all public meetings until further notice will be held closed to the public. City Council meetings will be live streamed in real time to our YouTube channel by searching for City of Taft City Clerk on YouTube, or at this link, which is www.youtube.com/user/City of Taft. Secondly, public comment for City Council meetings will be accepted in the following manners. Public comments will be accepted up until 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. Written comments may be dropped off in the drop box in front of City Hall. Comments may be emailed to the city clerk at ymayfield@cityoftaft.org. Made by phone to the city clerk's office at 661-763-1222. The comments received will be read into the record. Lastly, should a member of the public prefer to speak during the live portion of the meetings, you shall contact the city clerk prior to the time listed above and provide a contact phone number. Be available during the meeting times, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and we will contact you at that phone number that you have provided, and you'll be placed on speaker to address the council during the meeting time. So that's the way we're going to have to do this. That is unfortunately the new normal, but we're looking forward to the time when it is the past new normal, I've got to believe. We're going to begin this evening's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, which is going to be led by Councilman Eveland, followed by an invocation from Police Chief Damon McMinn. If you would join us, please.
Stand. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, we give all the praise and glory to you, Lord. Lord, we ask that you enter this room today and you impart your wisdom and guidance on the officials here today. Lord, we ask that you do that to our government, state, and federal officials, Lord. We ask that you do this to the world, Lord, in the direction that we need to take through this crisis. Lord, we ask that you provide wisdom and guidance in opening our economy and allowing people to once again prosper throughout the world, Lord. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Dorn,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer,
Here.
Councilmember Bryant,
Here.
Councilmember Eveland,
Here.
and Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Excuse me, a little housekeeping here. All right. First item on the agenda this evening, item number 1, we have several proclamations for this evening, so we're all going to share in the duties to read these proclamations. The first one is the Building Safety Month proclamation, and Councilman Bryant, I believe I gave you that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure on behalf of the folks of the City of Taft and the City Council to read this proclamation declaring May 2020 as Building Safety Month in the City of Taft. Whereas the City of Taft is committed to recognizing our growth and strength, Whereas the City of Taft is committed to recognizing our growth and strength depends on the safety and economic value of homes, buildings, and infrastructure that serve our citizens, both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster. And whereas our confidence in the structural integrity of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professional, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a United States-based organization that brings together local, state, and federal officials that are experts in the building environment or built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, work, worship, play. And whereas Building and Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings that are essential to keep our community great. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider projects to improve building safety and sustainability at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided by all of us, or to all of us by local and states building departments and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now therefore be it resolved, the City Council of the City of Taft does hereby declare the month of May 2020 as Building Safety Month, to be celebrated in the City of Taft by its employees, residents of all ages, and businesses throughout the community. Signed appropriately and dated this 5th day of May 2020 by the Mayor and the other 4 council members. And given how much time folks have had at home recently, I think there's plenty of building, hopefully it's being done safely at home. So thank you to those folks.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Councilman. Next up is going to be a proclamation for Correctional Officers and Correctional Employees Week. And I would ask that Councilman Evelyn present that, please.
It's a proclamation declaring May 3rd through 9th of 2020 Correctional Officers and Correctional Employees Week 2020. Whereas City of Taft correctional officers and correctional employees are responsible for supervising offenders convicted of crimes and sentenced to serve time in Taft's modified community correctional facility, and whereas correctional officers are trained law enforcement professionals dedicated to maintaining safe correctional facilities and ensuring the public safety, and whereas those highly devoted individuals do more than supervise, they train, teach, mentor, counsel, preach, and treat inmates while providing hope and guidance. They work to rebuild lives, and whereas correctional officers and correctional employees rise to meet any challenge and serve this honorable profession nobly and admirably, and whereas Correctional Officers Week offers an opportunity to acknowledge and honor Taft's correctional officers and correctional employees for the important work they perform each day and for the sacrifices they make to protect the citizens of our community. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft is proud to join in with the rest of the nation in honoring the dedication and professionalism of the women and men who are our correctional officers and correctional employees by declaring May 3rd through the 9th, 2020 Correctional Officers and Correctional Employees Week. Dated this day, 5th of May, 2020, signed by the Mayor Dave Knorr and the other 4 council members. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, sir. It is no secret that a great many employees involved in these activities reside within the City of Taft, and a couple of businesses that employ them are a critical component of our community. And we unfortunately lost one of those employers just recently. There are still a few people out there putting that into a mothball mode, for lack of a better term, I would have to say, but very unfortunate loss of jobs and some very hardworking, honest people. So that is a shame. It's just somewhat ironic that this be the week that we're going to honor them when the Department of Justice and Bureau of Prisons failed them. That is all I have to say about that.
I agree.
All right, next up, Municipal Clerks Week, and I have the honor of reading this one. Proclamation declaring May the 3rd through the 9th, 2020, 51st anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft does hereby formally recognize the City of Taft's local office of the municipal clerk, and accordingly hereby declares May the 3rd through May the 9th, 2020 as Municipal Clerks Week, dated this 5th day of May 2020, signed by myself and all 4 council members. It is no secret within this community that all of us up here hold our city clerk in the highest regard. In point of fact, I have been trying to collect enough money to commission Benjamin Victor to erect a statue in her honor on Rails to Trails. And I won't give up until I have enough money to do that event, by the way. We rely on Yvette day in and day out, every day. She's a hero. She does not wear a cape because it would get in the way, but other than that, she certainly deserves it. So, if I haven't made it clear that I am a huge fan, and we rely on you, and we appreciate everything you do for all of us, because you are the critical link between this group of amateur policymakers and the rest of government and the people we serve. So we thank you very, very much.
Here, here.
Amen.
All right, next up then we have the National Nurses Week. Councilman Whiting, if you would be so kind, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This proclamation is declaring that May 6th through 12th of 2020 will be National Nurses Week. Whereas we have come to appreciate more than ever the complex and expanding role which nurses play in our healthcare system, and whereas the wisdom, the skill, dedication nurses show every day sets them apart as very special people, and whereas the high quality of the nursing profession is making it possible for more Americans to enjoy better health services and improved patient outcomes. And whereas nurses have a critical responsibility to uphold the highest level of ethical standards in their practice, including fostering a safe work environment, and where it is most appropriate that we recognize the honor the nation's indispensable nurses for their tireless commitment 365 days a year. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft is proud to join in with the rest of the nation in honoring the excellent standards that characterize the practice of nursing, declaring May 6th through 12th of 2020 National Nurses Week. It is, of course, dated this 5th day of May 2020. It is signed by our Honorable Mayor Dave Knorr and myself and the other remaining 3 council members. And on a side note, this one was very special to me. My wife is a retired nurse. My daughter is a newly minted state certified nurse here in California. She just passed her boards this last week. And my soon-to-be daughter-in-law is a current registered nurse. And I'm here to tell you that this is very much describes the things that they do and they go through. And it's even more characteristic, especially now that we're going through the COVID-19 issues. We can't possibly thank them enough. So Robin, Shelby, Melissa, thank you so much for all you're doing, and for all the healthcare workers, all the nurses, all the doctors out there. Thank you so much. We appreciate you more than you know. And with that, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, you talk about a critical frontline component in the battle that we wage against COVID-19 globally, and they are. That is the foundation of the medical profession. So I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you very much, and thank them all. Okay then, next up, item number 2. Consideration of temporary reduction of sewer and or refuse fees for business affected by COVID-19. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. At the April 27, 2020 special council meeting, a comment was received from the public regarding the payment of sewer and refuse fees by businesses that have been closed or modified due to COVID-19, and council requested an item be brought back to them for consideration. Staff has considered how we make this work within the current processes of the department and be able to speed up the process, and would like to propose the council consider the following. Any local businesses considered non-essential or closed or modified due to COVID-19 may submit a request to the finance department for a temporary reduction of their business, sewer, and/or refuse bills. These requests will need to be made to the finance department by close of business of 5/20/2020. The city cannot go backwards in the utility accounting, therefore the months available for temporary adjustment will be May and June, and any prior amounts due will still need to be paid. The finance department will delay billing these months to allow local business to request the temporary adjustment. The availability of this temporary assistance for businesses will be noticed pertaining to the city's noticing policy, also shared with the Chamber of Commerce to distribute to business members. Decisions for the approval will be made by the finance director, and any businesses not agreeing with the decisions can appeal to the city manager. If a business qualifies for this temporary assistance, it will only allow for the reduction of fees to the lowest rate possible, which is the current standby rate. The assistance does not offer any forgiveness of late fees or these fees. This will only be temporary assistance available to our local business, and this is only available for one billing per 2 months. Any extension of the assistance will need to be brought back to the council for further consideration.
All right, thank you very much, City Manager Jones. The recommendation is an adoption of the above stated temporary reduction of sewer and/or refuse fees assistance for businesses affected by COVID-19 and direct staff to move forward with this implementation. We did hear from the public regarding this, and thank you for getting it on an agenda. And quite frankly, I believe not only does it make sense, given what's going on right now, but I also believe that what staff has brought forward makes a great deal of sense. It is responsible, it is legal, we cannot change the laws regarding municipal accounting, but it certainly shows that we are thinking about the plight of those that cannot open their businesses. That is a battle that we are waging day in and day out every day. I guarantee it, everybody. There is nobody in this state or all the way back to Washington we have not talked to about this, and we will continue to work on this. But obviously, City Council realizes what's going on and the impact to small business, and we want to consider that. So I would open the floor to discussion regarding this issue to any council member.
You know, I 100% agree, and I hope you guys don't mind me kind of jumping in here. In theory, these fees are meant to help the people subsidize the cost of the infrastructure and the processing of sewer and refuse. Is that correct, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay. And so also in theory, if these businesses are no longer working at the higher capacity with which they were previously, they should be producing more, or should I say less, into those systems and utilizing them less. So I would wholeheartedly support this if it moves forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman?
I absolutely agree. I think right now is, as we've demonstrated on a state level, is probably one of the hardest times most of these businesses have ever or probably will ever go through. Any little piece that we can do to at least assist them in the downtime, I think is a worthwhile effort. So I'm absolutely in the pro on this.
Councilman Whiting?
It's reasonable. I say yay.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I totally agree to help our local businesses. Taft is known to be a pro-business city, and whatever we can do during these times to help our local businesses, they will be. It's a good thing for us to do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your comments, sir. Well, does this require a motion or simply direction? Okay, it would appear then you have unanimous direction regarding this issue, so we would ask that staff move forward on this. The one thing that, having been involved in these things for quite some time, that I want to make sure we do is I don't know what those bills look like when they go out. I just want to make absolutely certain that people understand the accounting. We don't want to confuse the customer while we're trying to recognize the hardship of the customer. So we need to work a little bit extra hard just in case questions arise regarding what it actually means. So might take a little extra work on our part. There will be questions come up, but we certainly want to provide the benefit. So thank you all.
If you
Yes.
don't mind, I have a couple more questions. I apologize. Craig, what is the standby rate currently?
I don't know right offhand. I think it's somewhere close to $30.
And are those rates, they're tiered based on the business type or where they're zoned?
Usually the billings are according to not only business type, but the amount of trash they generate or
So it is
types
metered.
of business. Like restaurants for sewer would be how many seats they have available to customers. Trash cans go by quarter can, half can, full can, 300-gallon can. So
Okay.
it's all adjusting, and that's why the policy is unique to each business and
Perfect.
whatever issue they may be having. That's why they're going to have to work directly with the finance director to explain how their business is affected, and the furthest we can drop it down is the standby rate.
No, I think that makes great sense. I just wanted to make sure we were very clear that at the end of the day, those who are most unduly impacted will probably get the most benefit out of this and vice versa.
An example, if you owned a large restaurant, you're paying a lot for wastewater because the potential to have 100 customers using the restroom
Sure.
is more than an office building that has 2 occupants.
Perfect. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And on the extreme side, if you own a walk-in, sit-down restaurant that had the potential to actually provide those services to that many people, right now you are shut down.
Absolutely.
So all the more reason that they would realize that. All right, very good. Good questions. Thank you very much. Any further discussion on this, gentlemen? All right, you have direction. Thank you very much for bringing this before the council. Next up, item number 3, citizen request public comments. Did we have any public comments? None, okay. I don't have to read any in. I want to remind everybody out there in TV land, this is still your government. We want to hear from you. So feel free if you need to contact the city council to do so, and we will read it into the record. Moving forward, item number 4, council statements, non-action. Councilman Whiting, I'll begin with you this evening, sir.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilman Evelyn, you're up.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to make up for these two, I'm sure. I usually do. First and foremost, I did happen, maybe this is a question, and I kind of wish Kathy would have maybe given us something or an inclination, but I believe I read that the city of Bakersfield ultimately decided to get rid of their Independence Day celebration. Is that correct?
I heard that. I have not heard it in official capacity, but I heard a great deal of talk
They did make an
regarding
announcement
it.
due to the commitments that have to be made to the
That makes sense. From my personal perspective, and I'm sure that you folks would probably agree, that I think that's the last thing I would ever want to see happen in this community. And if I would hope that we as individuals, as a city, and possibly as a municipality find a way to make sure that does not happen here in the city of
Some of the
Taft.
smaller municipalities have stated that they're trying to plan around this with social distancing in place, so they can
That's a
still have
good
their
point.
small display of fireworks.
You know,
in
for
smaller
us,
cities.
Not only is it a celebration of something that we should all be very proud of, but I think it's a symbol of hope in a time of kind of uncertainty. So it serves a dual purpose, and I just hope that that's something we absolutely look down as a last-ditch effort. So if Kathy, Shannon, and Chelsea are out there, whatever I can do personally to help you out, I'm happy to do it, and I'm sure that the folks at City Hall will be willing to do the same. On that note, I heard somebody mention the other day that everyone should, if they're interested, to fly your flag. If you don't already fly your flag out in front of your house, consider doing that. Not only is it beautiful and breathtaking and any other number of words you can use to describe it, but I think, again, it also provides a little bit of glimmer of hope and unity as we kind of go throughout this. So I fly mine day and night, and I'm sure you folks do as well. But if you don't, True Value, I know, sells them. So
I have 2 at my house and 1 in my yard.
There you go.
And I also seated the one that's on top of the Bender rig, which is newly illuminated even better. And I mean, it shines at night, baby.
Absolutely. On that note, kudos to Councilman Evelyn. He made a post on Facebook earlier that reminded folks that there's a lot of local businesses here in Taft that have everything you need to meet your day-to-day obligations and wants, desires, and everything in between. It's not perfect, but we do have a plethora of things here. I would highly encourage folks to shop local. If you can, consider buying it here. If you found it elsewhere and you think you can get a better deal, I just encourage you to ask the retailer here first and see if they'd be willing to meet it, match it, or make you close, because you'd be very surprised how much more those dollars matter here than elsewhere. So when you can, shop local. Lastly, I'd like to say I'm very proud of the city staff, the council, in particular the mayor, for pushing hard. When we sent out our letter last week, and our initial response was not only negative from other people who don't live here in Taft, or even people who don't necessarily want to see us push forward as we are, we didn't stop and say, okay, well, and acquiesce. Basically, we said, no is not a good enough answer. We want to know why, and not only why, but how. And I really appreciate that. Obviously, we're seeing the fruits of those labor here. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Craig, to you and your staff, thank you guys very much. And I know the city of Taft as a whole is very thankful and looking forward to those things coming to fruition very soon. So, thank you.
All right, you're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Crier.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to reiterate from last week is, to me, there is no non-essential business. Everybody's important. All businesses are essential because they all affect one another. They also affect us as citizens, only in Taft, but to our great nation. My concerns I see coming up, being in the agricultural field, I see a lot of food shortages coming up. A lot of our stuff we're growing, we're disking up right now. A lot of the deals in the dairy industry, throwing the milk away, the egg industry, there's nothing, throwing their product away. A lot of them are giving it away to nonprofit and stuff to help out in that situation. But we're going to be down the road. We're going to have a huge price increase on the commodities that we enjoy in our kitchen and the restaurants that we have here. But there's a lot of implications. Is what the government did in our state, locking down everybody in their homes and closing down businesses, because it's going to affect us now and also in the future. And that's one of the biggest concerns that we have, because people don't realize that we found out that on that COVID-19, we're out in the sunlight, in the warm weather, going to the parks, it'll destroy it. You build immunity, and you have less, and be more healthier. But everything that's good to kill the COVID-19, the government prohibit us from doing it. Can't leave your house. Got to wear a mask, which is not good for you. It's been proven. You can't go to the beach. You can't go to the parks. You can't go anywhere. Everything's closed, and that makes it very unhealthy for ourselves and the people in our great country. I see that in my field, that we need to prepare for the future. I think that I would recommend all our citizens here in Taft is, when things are over with, start putting away a few things for the future. Be prepared. I believe the Mormons have a great deal about storing food and stuff for times like this they can fall back on. I think we ought to go ahead and practice. Our citizens practice that too, because you can't rely on government for everything. They can only do so much, and that is concerns I have about this COVID-19 coming up, and I can tell you that we're disking up acres because we can't sell the produce. You go bad. They're only good for so much shelf life. If you can't sell it, you throw it away, and that's going throughout many of the industries. That's some of the concerns that we have to look at and prepare for. And I also want to say congratulations for Yvette Mayfield. What she did, getting her master's certificate for city clerk, that is really, really great for the city of Taft. And I just want to let everybody know that we have a great person here in our city, and she's doing a great job, and she's going on her own to achieve those certificates, and she's going to courses and be on top of all of the things that is required to make a good city clerk and over beyond. So I just want to congratulate her and thank you, Yvette, for doing that. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, I think everybody in this room shaking their head, seconding that motion. So thank you very much for those comments. There is a lot of confusing information out there, folks, about what we get to do. What do we get to do? There have been phone calls and Facebook posts and YouTube and tweets and all the other kind of stuff that I don't do. So let me make something very, very clear. The governor's executive order within the state of California, there are two lists, and I call them the naughty and nice list. Okay, the essential and quote-unquote non-essential businesses. The essential business, the nice list, it lines things out about what is essential, who gets to keep working. Non-essential, unfortunately, is quite specific. It's those businesses and services that do not lie in either of those that we have been working very hard to get back into business. And when I say we, this council put together and signed a letter and moved the letter forward. Some people supported our actions, other people did not. But you cannot deny that since we took that action, that moving back into business, getting things started again, and the people actually giving some type of consideration to individual responsibility and individual rights has gone wild. There's been a great deal of attention from the Board of Supervisors. Zach Scribner led that charge. There's an advisory board that was created to provide direction to Kern County Health. Director Matt Constantine. Then I believe the city of Bakersfield this evening is going to take the matter up, and they're talking about issuing a letter of support for Kern County. And up and down the state of California, this has come to the surface. And if you look on the CDC website from the federal government, they say that regional differences need to be considered. And as we get more information, and now the dashboard provided by Kern County, the COVID dashboard, is giving us more specific information regarding testing and where they are. It's going by zip code now, as opposed to we were part of the Valley region, which I think the Valley region had a dozen zip codes in it. Mm-hmm. So now we have a little bit more information. We are working very hard to get additional testing capabilities on the west side in the city of Taft so that people can go get tested. They want to know, and we want you to know, so they'll be able to get tested. And Supervisor Scribner, I spoke with him at length about this, and he's working very hard on that. I spoke with the city manager about it as well. So we are trying to move those things forward. I have been on the phone and texting and talking to, if I haven't been on the news or talk radio or being interviewed by the LA Times or some other newspaper, I have been talking to Director Constantine, Supervisor Scribner, the District Attorney Cindy Zimmer, our former Supervisor David Couch, city staff, the Chief of Police, day in and day out every day. We have worked very, very hard on this, and we will not stop because we truly believe as a council that individual responsibility and right exists, and that we need to consider what is going on within our region, within the West Side, and then take actions within the best interests of this community. All we're looking for is for the governor to recognize those differences. We are not looking to ignore the things we have learned. We are looking to apply the things we have learned into additional business models so that these businesses can offer their services while integrating those protections that we have come to be familiar with, the new normal. So just so you all know out there, neither I nor the city council can say, hey, tomorrow, the heck with it. Everybody go back to what we were doing 3 months ago. We cannot do that. The governor has a great deal more latitude than we do, but we continue to work very, very hard to find opportunities to put people back in business while safeguarding them and the community, and we will continue to do just that. So just wanted to clarify that. The work continues. Everybody, we're going to get this thing done together. All right, next up, City Manager statement. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to read a release today from Bakersfield, Kern County. The Kern County Treasurer Tax Collector's Office is now accepting special COVID-19 late penalty cancellation request forms. If a taxpayer was unable to pay the second installment of property taxes on the time due to at the time due to impacts of COVID-19, they must fill out a form and submit it to the Kern County Treasurer Tax Collector's Office. The forms are available on the Treasurer Tax Collector's website. The forms are only valid if received in the Treasurer Collector's Office or postmarked by May 31st, 2020. The request forms must be submitted with a payment of base taxes excluding late penalties. If the form is received without payment of the base taxes, it will automatically be denied. Inability to pay due to COVID-19 must be resulting from the impacts of COVID-19. Forms must be submitted postmarked by May 31st. Forms must be submitted with payments of base taxes, excluding late penalties, including with a form or instructions for completing and mailing in. So that's just some information that we wanted to pass along to our residents that are possibly having problems with their taxes. Other than that, as you mentioned, there was some talk. You know that we are working with Kern County to try to provide a rapid testing site here in Taft. Local healthcare district is also working to try to provide rapid antibody testing. So we're hopeful to have two types of testing, and for free, hopefully. And for those sites, we don't know where the site will be yet, but I know that the healthcare district has offered their address as a site for both testing. So that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. The sooner we have that capability, and that is one of the key components of getting America back to work. And it was a requirement that was put forth by the president on the CDC website, and it does make sense. So a critical component, the sooner we get that going, the better off we're going to be. Real-time good information that we have helps us make the right decisions for this community. Next up, City Attorney statements. City Attorney Epperson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No statement.
No statement. All right, thank you, sir. Future agenda requests this evening, gentlemen?
None here.
All right, hearing none.
I may have something.
Okay.
This one here is kind of, I got some information with Wendy Soto. She's owns a gym there on Center Street. She sent me some information that, you know, she's interested in getting Taft open again, and she asked that if the county health department will help us in the near future to get our city back open with our restaurants and everything. That she gave us information from that she recommended getting the Center for American Liberties involved. They have filed 5 lawsuits against Newsom for violating so many of the people's constitutional rights. And they're working real closely with attorney Mark Mauser, M-E-A-U-S-E-R, and a lot of the counties and cities are using him to, and I guess they're doing pretty successful in getting their cities and counties opened up north. So I was wondering if we need to, if we're not getting satisfaction from our local health department, maybe we can authorize attorneys to talk with that attorney there to see what we can do to help Taft and getting our city opened up quicker, or if we're not getting no results from our local health department.
Okay.
That's a recommendation.
Understood. Just to clarify something, Mayor Pro Tem, and that is that gyms, hair salons, nail salons, and barbershops are on the governor's executive order non-essential, very specific list. So you're right in that if he's not going to voluntarily change that, I know there are lawsuits throughout the United States of America, and some of them are against municipal governments, some of them are against governors around the country, and those things are moving forward. So we would hear about the results of those, and those things are changing on a daily basis.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people died, not from the COVID-19, but because of the government actions in hospital care where you can't do surgeries and stuff. A lot of them are looking at 28% capacity to less than 0.5% capacity. And a lot of hospitals are actually furloughing their nurses and doctors or laying them off. And to me, that's a crying shame because it affects our older citizens and even our more so. And we need to, if we can, incorporate and use it if we can help give as a city to help resolve through a lawsuit or working with other groups to expedite getting our state open again in our cities. But that's just I just want to use that as a tool. I thought I'd propose it, and if it doesn't work out, you still feel like it's not a way to go, I understand.
All right, well, thank you very much. Just so I understand, that was somewhat of a discussion with the rest of the council regarding whether that should be a future agenda request, or was that kind of a FYI, just informing everybody that those things are taking place?
Yeah, as another tool to look at, another tool that they can use. It's either in a future agenda request or something we can use as directions to our attorney and our city manager to explore and look into.
Okay, well, I can tell you that they are monitoring that, and we can give them direction to continue to monitor that should any critical developments come forward to keep us informed.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is consent calendar. Consent calendar items 8 through 14. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? That's kind of a silly question, but I just had to go ahead and read that into the record now, didn't I? Okay. Those items are item number 8, which would be the minutes for the April 21st, 2020 regular meeting, as well as the April 27th, 2020 special meeting. Item number 9, payment of bills, some $442,000 worth. Item number 10 would be the treasurer's reports. Recommendation is a motion to receive and file treasurer's reports for the months of July 2019 through February 2020. Item number 11 would be an ordinance amendment, number 2019-16, therapeutic massage. Recommendation is a motion to approve and amend the City of Taft Municipal Code entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft, approving ordinance amendment number 2019-16, an amendment of the Chapter 20 of Title 4 of the Taft Municipal Code regarding therapeutic massage. Basically, to adopt that of the county and get us in line with that because they would be the enforcing agency. Item number 12, ordinance amendment number 2020-02, restaurants and food establishment grading. Recommendation is a motion to approve and amend the City of Taft Municipal Code entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft, approving ordinance amendment number 2020-02, an amendment of chapters 1 and 1.5 of Title 3 of the Taft Municipal Code regarding restaurants and food establishments grading. Here again, to align those requirements with that of the county because they are the enforcement body. Item 13, purchase of 15 outer vest carriers to be issued to all sworn Taft police personnel. Recommendation there is a motion to accept the bid from Pro Force Law Enforcement for the Safari Land Oregon City carrier vest in the amount of $4,102.50 and authorize the mayor to sign and accept the quote, which, by the way, will have no impact on the budget because the funds for that will come from asset forfeiture. Thank you.
Right.
All right, and then finally, let's see. That is, yes. Item 14, which is Low Carbon Transit Operation Program, fiscal year 2019-2020 certifications and assurances and authorized agent forms for zero emission transit buses and related support infrastructure project. Recommendation is a motion to adopt resolution entitled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft authorizing execution of the certifications and assurances and authorized agent forms for the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, fiscal year 2019-2020, for the following project: the purchase of 2 zero-emission transit buses and related support infrastructure project using $22,537 in LCTOP funds. For the record, that $22,537 will not purchase those 2 vehicles as well as their support, but we will get those funds and keep them, and as we amass annually more funds and finally get to that target, we will be able to effect that purchase. So, that being the case, do any council members wish to remove any of these items from the consent calendar?
None here.
Hearing none, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 8 through 14.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
None here.
All right. I have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Evelyn,
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting,
Yes.
and Mayor Nor.
Yes, now it passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. That concludes our open session portion of this evening's meeting. We'll be going into closed session for 3 items. Item A, threat to public services, consultation regarding COVID-19 impacts to public facilities and services, Government Code Section 54957. Item B, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9B, 2 potential cases. And lastly, item C, conference with labor negotiator Craig Jones, city manager, Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. Thank you all for being a part. Oh, one more thing, one more critical thing before we say goodbye. Remember I was telling you how important it was that Yvette keep track of what we do? She's standing in the background behind the camera reminding me, Mayor, you have something else
Good
to
thing,
do.
huh?
And it is very important.
Amen.
On behalf of the city of Taft, it is with deepest sympathy and sincere condolences, the mayor and the city council adjourn this meeting, the meeting of May the 5th, 2020, in honor and memory of Specialist Louis C. Ruan. Specialist Ruan was a local young fellow, went to Taft High School. He was injured while conducting training drill for promotion in rank. Specialist Ruan was under medical care in the VA Palo Alto Hospital for some time. He had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he succumbed to those injuries. So it is with our deepest sympathy that we adjourn this meeting, and we wish the very best for his family and thank him for his services. God bless you very much.
Amen.
Good evening, everybody.